So, does anyone care to touch on this further?
But unfortunately now, we also have to talk about the MAGA TV host that you saw at the start of the show. Her name is Gina Ludon, and she suggested today in this clip on Real America's Voice, which literally, I would say something else, but I'd get demonetized, suggesting he's going to hell because of his policies. We just made a video on his final messages to J.D. Vance about migrants and all those issues that he has championed for a very long time: freedom, peace, democracy. You can check that out up in the corner as it pops up here. But I want to play this clip for you. It's a little bit long. It's about 2 minutes, and there's 2 people in this clip. That girl that we just talked about, Gina, this one up top. Man, something about her just makes me, Anyway. And then this lady down in the bottom. And, like, what a terrible way to talk about the Pope, to talk about anyone who's just died, right? Sorry, I know I'm blabbering on here. I'll play the clip here and then we'll talk about it after. Just listen to how terrible these people are. Oh, my God.
Well, I very much appreciated Dr. Gina's comments about what seemed to me to be a troublingly political bent on behalf of Pope Francis, whose passage obviously is a sad event for the Catholic Church. And, no doubt he reposes in the arms of the Lord. But he was a confirmed leftist, basically, at least by the lights of lots of folks, including me. And it will be very interesting to see what the Catholic Church does next.
He was considered a leftist, at least according to me, because he cared about human decency. That's so liberal and
shut the f up. But that just made me so mad, folks. I can't even. I'm sorry for cussing. I know this is kind of an important thing, but this just feels like it's worth it here because these people are so grimy. Listen to this next lady.
And Dr. Hayworth, I don't know if I've ever disagreed with you in the long, long time we've been in television together, but I don't know that I am so sure about where the Pope is today. I don't know that holding a title necessarily ushers you into the arms of Jesus. I think that babies died. Christians were slaughtered across the world, and there was no condemnation of that out of this papacy. I think that you look at what happened to marriage underneath some of the things that he said across the world. I think that when you look forward and you think about the possibility of someone like a Cardinal Dolan or someone like more in the vein of Pope John Paul, right? When you think about that being a possibility and the growth that could take place worldwide in terms of, not even just Catholic Church growth, but really Christendom as a whole and the impact that someone like that could have, you do really hope and pray that the next pope is more in line with biblical teaching. And if you're not in line with biblical teaching, I don't know where you land with God in the end. I really don't know. I think the number is few. But then again, I'm a Calvinist, so take it, doctor.
As a non-religious person, I consider myself an agnostic theist. Okay, whatever. That I really think that's beside the point. I think anyone's religion is beside the point, but maybe not here, right? Because if you are the one complaining about Pope Francis's biblical teachings the day after Easter, may I remind you that based on your MAGA, stupid, dumb, what's the word I'm looking for? Absolute bastardization of the Bible, of the biblical teachings. If Jesus came back today, y'all would have him deported and in an El Salvadoran prison in an instant. And the irony of that just doesn't click with you morons. But no, let me get on national television and suggest that the Pope is going to hell because I disagree with his politics, and then at the same time be the same people to say, why did we try to assassinate Trump? Why are the Dems being so political? Why are they saying all these mean things and calling us Nazis when we're spouting Nazi talking points? What the is wrong with you people? When are you gonna wake up? I mean, obviously you're not. You guys are so far gone. But it makes so much sense when you hear these people talk, when you hear how bold MAGA is getting, coming out and saying things like he's not Christian enough because he doesn't want to deport people without due process and get rid of the Hispanic people, or the people who had the historical same skin color as Jesus Christ himself. Like, do you guys not understand? I think someone needs to hit them over the head with a Trump Bible until they until it clicks. I don't understand.
Here's the reality. They're talking about these 7 mountains, and then I'll get thrown in there as a 7-mountain dominionist, architect. And I wrote to someone last night. They said journalists are after him because of his association with me over the 7 mountains. I said, you know what? I'm going to flip the thing around. I don't believe the 7 mountains is a theological formula for engaging culture. I think Seven Mountains is a blueprint for how the left took over America and is taking it over a cliff and dismantling it. From education to corporations to media, arts, entertainment, to their collusion with science and technology and big tech, to their weaponizing of the State Department, the intelligence community, and government. I'm taking the Seven Mountains down, presenting it as, how did America get destroyed?
What pope will be raised up? We should be praying for this because we're in the era of awakening. And some people would even say that they assassinate popes in the Vatican if they become dangerous. There's stories of that, but I can't say one way or the other. But it is a political organization as well as an empire. But it also has the vestiges of true Christianity. Peel it back to 2000. Remember, Derek Prince taught me this. He said, rather than being anti-Catholic, if you're a Protestant, remember they were the ones that actually protected the scripture, that kept the original documents, that guarded the purity of the history of the first, 500 years of Christianity, 1,000 years of Christianity, so that you have what you have today. So there is a story there about the early Catholic Church. But I'm going to my X account here. I think I have it pinned for a couple of days. While you're on the show, you could go there and read my document. Will this pope expire? Will he live? Who will be the next pope? Do you know the names of who the candidates are? Or do you have a name that I don't have listed here? So here's what I got. Some bad options. I'm just putting it out there. Remember these names. Cardinal Pietro Parolin, age 70. He's the Vatican Secretary of State since 2013. They got a Secretary of State. They're political.
They got a wall, too.
They got a wall. Yeah, they got a wall. And they got a bank. Why is he popular? Because Parolin's a diplomat with extensive experience in Vatican governance. He's a moderate who could continue Pope Francis's policies. He's Italian in heritage, and most of our popes have been Italian. His work included managing the controversial Vatican-China deal on bishop appointments, so he knows how to compromise with communist China so that the church can stay politically alive with Rome, but I think he sacrificed the Christian influence in China in order to do that. We do not want Francis's policies continued. I'm going to say no on Pietro Parolin. Let's see what happens.
Is anybody good? Do we have any good options you've got over
I'm going to give you now the good ones.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Thank you.
Listen, I'm just telling you, I'm telling you the names. They may be famous in 3 days or a week. We told you first who the candidates were. Then we have Cardinal Peter Erdo of Hungary. We like Hungary. Viktor Orban. This is a good guy. So you want to pray for Peter Erdo, age 72. He's the Archbishop in Budapest, the former president of the Council of European Bishops. He has a history of communism and nationalism coming into freedom. He's popular because he's a conservative canon lawyer with a strong reputation for holding on to the tradition of Catholic doctrine. He's seen as a counterbalance to Francis's reforms. He's appealing to cardinals seeking to return a bit of the orthodoxy back to the Catholic Church. And his Eastern European background echoes Pope John Paul II. He is his heir. Oh, let's hope that Cardinal Peter Erdo, at age 72 in Hungary, is great. He has, by the way, he's on record, though. He's a little controversial for his opposition to communion for divorced and remarried Catholics. He's old. He's really old school. And his stance against refugee policies. And so he's not going with the Pope there with his argument that refugees ought to all be able to be free to go, open borders. He's against that. He's a better choice. But I'm going to give you the best choice. Ready for the best one? Mm-hmm. Cardinal Fridolin Ambongo Busunga. Will they have a black pope?
That would be neat.
From the Republic of the Congo.
That'd be amazing.
Age 65. From the Congo. This would be interesting. His Archbishop of Kinshasa and president of the Symposium of Episcopal Conferences of Africa and Madagascar. Why is he popular? Well, because he's emerged a powerful voice from Africa, a region that's rapidly growing in Catholic population. His conservative stance, especially, get this one, he resisted Francis's approval of blessing homosexual marriages. He said, I'm not into this same-sex couple blessing thing. And he went on record as the one bold cardinal that said, you're moving in the wrong direction, Pope. And he's won support because he's holding the line on traditional Christian doctrine. His leadership in pushing back against progressive doctrines, while he is sensitive to social justice, makes him a unique composite. He's a better choice.
But I'm not done yet. Call right now and I'll triple the offer.
Predicting who will be the next pope is near enough impossible, but there are always cardinals widely believed to be contenders. Mark Burrows has a look at who might follow in the footsteps of Pope Francis.
It really is anyone's guess, but 6 cardinals have emerged as strong contenders, hailing from all corners of the globe. First, the Italians. Pietro Parolin is the Vatican's Secretary of State. At 70 years old, he's a seasoned diplomat with a reputation as a moderate. Matteo Zuppi was born in Rome and serves as the Archbishop of Bologna. He's led peace missions in Russia and Ukraine, and like Francis, had a reputation as a street priest. Pier Battista Pizzaballa is the youngest in the mix, aged 60. He is the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem and has been vocal about the war in Gaza. Further afield, there's Luis Tagle from the Philippines, nicknamed the Asian Francis for his commitment to social justice. If elected, he'd be the first pope from that continent. The selection of Peter Turkson from Ghana would also make history. He's the eldest of the group, aged 76. He's spoken out on some progressive issues, including climate change, but affirmed traditional positions on others. And then there's Peter Erdo, Archbishop of Budapest and one of the most conservative contenders. He was seen as a frontrunner in 2013. So, who will it be? History suggests the favourites are rarely chosen. There's even an Italian saying, he who enters a conclave as a pope leaves as a cardinal.
The son of America's Secretary of State is ordained a Jesuit priest in the chapel at Fordham University. The secretary, who's a Presbyterian elder, and Mrs. Dulles are on hand for the solemn ritual. 36 Jesuit candidates, including young Dulles, prostrate themselves before the altar as a symbol of humility. At the climax of the 3-hour ceremony, the new priests receive the vestments of their holy office. Father Avery Dulles bestows his first priestly blessings, then poses for a portrait with his parents and Cardinal Spellman.
Everybody